Hey everyone, welcome back to Trek on the Tube. This is my review and Easter eggs video for Star Trek Discovery Season 1, Episode 12, Vaulting Ambition. After an amazing beginning to the second chapter of this first season, followed by an equally interesting episode, we now move into a slower pace. Episode 12 felt like it was more about setup than it was reveals, though Mirror technically counts as both. We still have 3 more episodes to go this season. I expect 13 will resemble 12 quite a bit. A lot of dialogue, exposure, and then the 2 last ones, however, will be absolutely all over the place. Mirror tries to take over the Terran Empire. Burnham goes through with her exchange, she gives the spore drive to the Emperor and gets information about the USS Defiant, but only after learning the mycelial network is being destroyed from the inside out and thus rendered useless. The Emperor is furious. The USS Discovery is now going up against not only the Terrans but also the Tholians as it rushes into Tholian space to try to find a way home. Then Mirror comes to assist them because, surprise, he's not dead. L'Rell, still in love and relieved to see at least one Vok is alive, joins his cause and decides to stay behind in the Mirror Universe at his side. Georgiou murders Lorca in a face-removing vengeance kind of way. The USS Discovery manages to cross back into the Prime timeline, and then Georgiou looks into the camera and says something like, "We will meet again, Burnham." Okay, fine, that's just my imagination, but you get the picture. Episode 12 is setting up an action-packed end of season. As I said earlier, this episode was a bit slower, but that's to be expected. Not every episode can blow your mind. Interesting to note though, even if this wasn't my favorite episode of Discovery, it's probably the only one I have no complaints about. At first, I thought the acting in the scene between Stamets and Mirror Stamets was a little off, but after rewatching the episode, I found I actually have no issues. Also, for some reason, I have a thing against bad guys killing their henchmen in movies or TV shows, and so that bugged me at first when Georgiou just murdered her lords, but again, after thinking about it, after rewatching it, it makes sense. This is the Mirror Universe anyway, so everyone kills everyone all the time. So the episode's various stories were good. It was interesting to learn about Mirror Stamets, it was interesting to learn about the Emperor and what she had to say about Lorca. The big Mirror Lorca reveal was very well executed, and I even liked how L'Rell was forced into helping Saru concerning Ash Tyler / Vok. That scene, actually, with L'Rell and Saru talking in the brig was probably one of my favorite Saru scenes in Discovery so far. It was a brilliant character moment, and it was one of many. The return of Kol and his moment with Stamets, the way Burnham handled the Emperor, Tilly's innocence when she gave a very subjective opinion on Stamets' health, all of that worked really well. Actually, not only was the story good, but it also contained a very unexpected addition to canon. Those from the Mirror Universe are more sensitive to light than those from the Prime timeline. It ties in well with the Mirror Universe always being dimly lit. And for those wondering how they could have possibly figured that out, the USS Defiant's standard lighting setting was probably set to, I don't know, atrocious pain. So, that's a bit of a dead giveaway there. Also, just like the 2 previous episodes, it all looked really good. From the sets to the CG and props. The Terran Empire weapons were awesome. The Palace ship was fantastic. I mean, God knows what that is, but it looks amazing. I know not everyone agrees, but I really like it. And the costumes. Holy hell! Look how regal and menacing the Emperor looks. I suppose what I could say is this was one of those episodes that is part of what makes the TV series great without necessarily standing out. It was good and solid, and in a perfect world, this would be the baseline for all future Star Trek Discovery episodes. Alright, enough of me trying to pretend I'm an actual critic, and let's talk about Easter eggs and references. Not that there were many, to be honest. We start with shuttle number 3 from the ISS Shenzhou. Yes, it resembles the USS Discovery shuttles, but I also found it looked a lot like the Type 6 shuttles from the Next Generation. This isn't necessarily a reference or an Easter egg, I just thought it was worth noting the similarities in design. Continuing with the shuttle, something insane was done with that scene. The shuttle is said to travel 27 million kilometers at warp 1. The internet math nerds figured out that would supposedly take about 90 seconds, and in that scene, from the moment the warp drive is activated till it shuts down, about 90 seconds pass. Real time, as dialogue. So this was pretty much the first accurate depiction of real-time warp speed in Star Trek ever. And we end with this pad Lorca and Burnham are looking at. Yeah, that's already the last Easter egg. I told you, not much today. And again, I don't even know if this can be considered an Easter egg. Anyway, the most important stuff on the pad reads, Part 1, Background. On Stardate 0141.2, ISS Enterprise on the orders of Commander Jonathan Archer crossed into Tholian space in violation of the orders from Starfleet Command. Upon entering blank, Enterprise reached blank, where they discovered the warship Defiant hidden in blank Tholian something. Couldn't get that one. Part 2, Technology. The warship Defiant's technological specifications are similar to those of Starfleet vessels, including saucer and engineering sections and warp nacelle configuration. Armaments include 8 forward torpedo tubes, 1 aft torpedo tube, and multiple phased energy weapon arrays. The phased energy weapon array, blank. So essentially the file is explaining pretty much what happened in the Enterprise double episode In a Mirror Darkly. I said that was the last Easter egg, and technically it was, but I want to talk about just one other thing: Emperor Georgiou's titles. Jordan Nardino, writer of the episode, took the time to explain them all on Twitter. Link to the thread in the description. Keep in mind this is just his thought process, it's not canon, not until it's explained on screen, but it is pretty interesting to see how we got to those titles. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, share, comment, etc., etc., and most of all, live long and prosper.